By day 7, the silence was its own answer. She'd sent walls of texts, voicemails I didn't open, and a couple of posts about marriage takes work. I made coffee, sat on the balcony, and finally sent one message back. Thanks for this. Susan has been the sweetest. I didn't add anything else. No explanation, no argument. My phone started ringing immediately. I let it ring out. A minute later, who is Susan? I put the phone face down. I didn't owe her play-by-plays anymore. That afternoon, I answered one of her calls. I wanted to hear how she'd frame it. She started fast, like a person trying to catch a falling plate. It was a joke. You're making this bigger than it is. You changed my flight and left the country without me. I told the hotel you had an extra week. You weren't in danger. You don't get to decide what danger is for me. Silence on her end. Then the pivot she always tried. Are you seeing this? Susan, she helped me not be stranded. That's all you need to know. You're cruel right now. I'm clear right now, I said, and ended the call. After that, I stopped answering. I kept working mornings from a cafe where the Wi-Fi was reliable, walked the beach in the afternoons, and learned which taco stand did the best al pastor. Susan and I kept it simple. Breakfast, a few city walks, quiet. No labels, no rush. It wasn't about romance. It was about breathing normally. Back home, people started connecting dots without me. My sister called and said the Facebook comments were rough. Not against me, for once, against the behavior. Friends I hadn't talked to in months texted, "Are you okay?" My boss emailed, "Take the time you need. HR can approve family crisis leave." I didn't ask how he'd heard. News travels. 2 weeks in, I got a text. I filed. No paragraph, no speech. Just that. I stared at it until the relief settled in. I booked a flight home for the following month and sent my lawyer search into motion. While I waited, I made a list of practicals in the same notebook where I'd written my boundaries. Find an apartment with light, quiet, and no statement couch. Change passwords. Box only what I actually use. Therapy. Tell my parents I'm okay without making them choose sides. The last week in Mexico felt steady. I worked mornings, met with a remote-friendly therapist online twice, and let the quiet finish its job. On my last night, Susan and I watched the sunset. She asked if I was ready. Yeah, I said. I'm not going back to fix anything. I'm going back to move forward. Good, she said. Text me if the paperwork gets ugly. I'm excellent at pep talks and flight hunting. Deal. Back home, the apartment looked smaller. Maybe it was the couch stain I couldn't unsee anymore. Maybe it was that every corner held a story I didn't want. I spent the first night on the floor with a borrowed air mattress and realized this was the calmest that place had ever felt. I hired a lawyer a friend recommended. I told him the story in flat facts. He nodded a lot. She changed your ticket without consent? He asked. Yes. Document everything, he said. We'll keep it clean. We kept it clean. No fights in hallways. No long emails, just paperwork. I boxed my things in 3 categories. Keep, donate, trash. Keep was smaller than I expected. A few clothes, kitchen knives I liked, 2 framed photos that didn't hurt to look at, and my laptop. I left the pottery wheel she'd used 3 times and called a charity to pick it up. It felt like moving a ghost out of the room. She texted now and then, "We should talk in person." I answered once, "Not necessary. Lawyers only." She replied, "You're cold." I typed, "I'm done." I didn't send it. I didn't need to. Silence said it. At work, my boss treated me like a person, not a headline. Ease back in. "You've been through enough," he said. I did my tasks and left on time. No staying late to avoid the apartment. No wandering store aisles to delay going home. I signed a lease for a 1-bedroom with quiet floors and big windows. No TV in the bedroom. No cream couch. I bought a small, sturdy table that could hold a coffee mug and a laptop. It was enough. One last exchange. We scheduled a key exchange through the lawyers. Neutral ground, lobby of her firm's building at lunchtime. It was a 5-minute slot. I showed up with a small envelope, spare key, mailbox key, and a labeled box of the last items with her name on them. She arrived exactly on time, sunglasses on, hair perfect, the look she used when she wanted to control a room with polish. She reached for the envelope. "Can we?" she started. "No," I said. Not unkind, just final. She held the envelope, waiting. Was there really a Susan? Yes. She was a rebound? No. She was a decent human when you weren't. She bit her lip like she might cry. I'm getting help, she said quietly. Therapy. Good, I said. I hope it helps. That was the entire conversation. We traded items, signed an acknowledgement, and stepped away. No scene, no parting shot. Just the end. Building a life. The first night in my new place, I sat on the floor and ate takeout at the small table. No TV, just a fan humming. I slept like a stone. In therapy, I said things out loud I'd only thought in Mexico. I'd confused peacekeeping with love. I'd avoided conflict by absorbing it. I'd called manipulation spontaneity because it sounded nicer than disrespect. We worked on simple rules. If someone's choices cost you safety or dignity, that's not your person. You don't need a committee vote to set a boundary. Quiet isn't emptiness. Sometimes it's health. I told my family I was fine. My sister came by with a plant and a grocery bag. This is a starting over fern, she said. Try not to kill it. I watered it lightly and put it by the window. Work found a rhythm. I ran in the park a few mornings a week and learned that I liked early air. I cooked simple things. I stopped checking my phone first thing. I started sleeping through the night. Susan and I texted now and then. Pictures of street food, short notes about flights, a photo of a beach dog that looked like it owned the town. No promises, no pressure, just two people who had met at the right time and handled a hard thing like adults. The paperwork lands. The final decree came through on a Tuesday. My lawyer emailed, filed and final, no further action. I stared at the one-page confirmation and waited to feel grief. What I felt was a click, as if a door I'd been holding shut finally latched on its own. I went for a run. Halfway through, I stopped by the river and texted 3 people. To my sister, final. I'm okay. To my boss, all set. Thanks for the space. To Susan, done. Coffee on me whenever life overlaps again. She replied, proud of you. Order something strong. I walked home, showered, made a real breakfast, and opened my notebook to a fresh page. New list, keep mornings quiet. No joint purchases without joint plans. Don't explain boundaries. State them. Travel because I want to, not to escape. Be the person I was in Mexico without needing Mexico to be him. I taped the page inside a cabinet door. I see it every day when I grab coffee. Last message. Weeks later, she sent one final text. I hope you're happy. I typed and erased 3 responses. Then I wrote the only true thing left. I am. I put my phone down and let the quiet sit. Not the tense kind, the real kind. That night, I sat by the window with the plant my sister brought, a bowl of pasta and a book. No crisis waiting. No spin to manage. Just a small apartment, a steady heart, and a calendar with blank space that didn't scare me. People think the story ends when the plane takes off or when the judge stamps a page. It doesn't. It ends when you stop living as cleanup crew for someone else's mess and start living as yourself. Mexico didn't save me. It just made the noise stop long enough for me to hear the obvious. She didn't play a prank. She pressed pause. I used it. And when I think about that morning in the hotel, the empty suitcase, and the text that started everything, I don't feel anger anymore. I feel grateful I woke up. Thanks for watching. If you like PLE, subscribe.